was the nice-looking, well-dressed woman running down 151st Street in Harlem after school and before evening rush on a bright day at the end of August in 2015. If you saw me with my purse half open and my balance tested more than once, you were wrong to laugh and right to be alarmed. If you had been someone who knew me, I wouldn't have answered to my name. I wanted to forget it. That's why I was running. If you're a woman who saw me like that, but you were busy running too, please know I was running for us all. So begins the story of Autumn Spencer, the protagonist of Kalisha Buckhanon's Speaking of Summer. Hey everyone, this is Tanya. Welcome back to Black Women Read, reviews of books, zines, and everything in between. Speaking of Summer is the fourth novel of Buckhanon's. Her previous works have given voice to contemporary Black women characters, their struggles, complicated truths, and resilience. As author Jasmine Ward notes, Kalisha Buckhanon's characters are both fearless and haunted, brave and burdened by the past. Autumn Spencer continues Buckhanon's penchant for creating complex Black women characters. Speaking of Summer chronicles Autumn coping with tragedy in her life. The blurb on the book states, on a cold December evening, Autumn Spencer's twin sister, Summer, walks to the roof of their shared Harlem brownstone and is never seen again. The door to the roof is locked, and the snow holds only one set of footprints. Faced with authorities indifferent to another missing Black woman, Autumn must pursue the search for her sister, all on her own. The idea that Speaking of Summer was going to be a mystery thriller intrigued me and is what made me want to read it. However, the book turned out to be something a little different. I was a bit surprised, but it was still a moving read. My quest to find out what happened to Summer was a noisy, gobbling goal I couldn't quiet. I wasn't aiming for a sticker, trophy, degree, paycheck, or title at the end. I was losing my security, stability, and mind along the way. Throughout Speaking of Summer, Autumn is obsessed about her missing sister, Summer. Her obsession consumes her life. She is unable to work. Her apartment becomes a cluttered mess, homage to Summer. Her increasingly quirky behavior concerns her boyfriend and best girlfriend. She sees Summer in every Black woman missing, murder victim discussed in the news. She hounds Detective Montgomery, the police officer assigned to her sister's case. Detective Montgomery took a sip from his plastic Popeye's large drink. I was robbing him of a peaceful, two-piece, spicy lunch. The cell number you gave is disconnected, he continued. No recent text messages or calls. And according to you, she was anti-social media and whatever. So her online footprint is scant and no help. Did she meet a man? I would have known. Did you call every single number in the phone? I demanded. I did, but I'm no authority. People don't have to answer to me. I became deeply involved in trying to figure out what happened to Summer. I was as fixated as Autumn. Did the neighbor kill Summer? Perhaps Summer decided to run away and start a new life. Or was she being trafficked like millions of other women? But more than halfway through the book, a twist emerges. There is no Summer. This story is not about a missing sister, but rather a woman grappling with loss of self, her identity. Summer is a person she created to deal with trauma in her life. It seemed rather obvious when I later reflected on the book. but the reveal threw me for a loop initially. Speaking of Summer is really a thoughtful tale about mental health and depression of a young black woman navigating a world that does not care about the well being of black women, a world that sees black women as disposable to be used and forgotten. In reading further in the book, I learned that Autumn is a survivor of molestation, sexual violence at the hands of her stepfather. This reality was too much for her to bear as a child, so she disassociated. While Speaking of Summer was different from what I expected, Buckhannon's book is a multi-layered story touching on racism, sexism, and exploitation of black girls, women. Autumn's journey stayed with me long after I read the book. I was filled with a sense of sadness for several days. Honestly, Speaking of Summer could be a bit of a clunky read, as Buckhannon does try to cover a variety of topics in her book. But the book speaks to the issue of loneliness and isolation that often are a part of the lives of modern black women. We are hypervisible, invisible at the same time. We are copied and imitated, but degraded and mocked at the same time. We are expected to do labor for others, but it is rarely reciprocated. This can take a toll on our mental health, especially if combined with trauma. I would recommend including Speaking of Summer on your reading list. It's different than one would expect, but it's still an important read. Thank you for listening, and I will see you at the next video.